All right, folks, we're here at the farmhouse on the Boone, and we were making a drop off, about 6 pieces. This is going to be beautiful. Keep your eyes open for the finished product. God bless. Thanks for taking a look.
I would say one thing would probably be to start collecting all your architectural salvage and everything pretty early on. Even like knowing what kind of sink you want is how they do the plumbing before you ever get to putting, like I kind of thought, oh, that's the last thing. It's not the last thing. It's gonna be the cute little bathroom with the matching pedestal sinks. Yeah, the 2 matching sinks, and then we're doing a penny tile with like the little patterns in it. The bathtub will go here. But like the front door, every interior door, maybe 1880s.
Lisa Bass at Farmhouse on Boone is setting a precedent in the new old house build space, and Beautiful Bathtub was thrilled to help her finish this build with 6 vintage fixtures from our inventory of bathroom and kitchen pieces. All 6 pieces are originals from the 1930s and include 2 vintage pedestal sinks, 2 porcelain toilets, and 1 5.5-foot clawfoot tub. These 1930s pieces were professionally reglazed via our in-house resurfacing service. This service restores vintage fixtures to new or better condition for use in modern day. At drop-off, Lisa gave us a full tour of her house build. Upcoming is a walkthrough of all 3 stories, and after the walkthrough, we discuss with Lisa some of the biggest challenges that she has faced while building her new old house. Lisa also shares some of the finishing touches she is incorporating in her build to give her new house an authentic, turn-of-the-century farmhouse feel. If you are interested in vintage fixtures and even doors for your home build or renovation, join the Beautiful Bathtub VIP email list using the first link in the description of this video, or join through the homepage at bbdallas.com. Our inventory of vintage fixtures moves fast, so joining this list will give you first access to new pieces. The walkthrough of Lisa's build begins at the attic level.
This is our little makeshift railing, because I think the stairs are going to be something that's going to take some time. And so I think we'll be moved in before the stairs are done. But what we're going to do is gate off the kids won't be able to come to the 3rd floor ever until it's done. Yeah. So yeah, this room will end up being, I believe, a sewing room. Well, my oldest 2 are really into sewing, and it's hard right now because where they sew is like in the main action, and we have 6 sons, and we try our best to keep them out, but it's like literally in the main living area. So this is going to be their little sewing room, and when we just painted, so you can't see, actually we can probably see. You got like a really beautiful view of the barn and yeah, the fields. And then these casement windows, we also had a lot of worry about this on YouTube. They can actually be locked down. Right. So we're not planning to open these. Like I showed on the walkthrough, I was like, aren't these beautiful? And people are like, you're kids. I'm like, well, we're not gonna actually open them. Like they're pretty, but they're gonna stay shut. So yeah, and then we had to put this furnace here for the 2nd floor. So I'm gonna put probably like a vintage, like those vintage partitions where they're like a screen, divider. And I think I want to make this a playroom. We obviously will have to have a very good banister going up if we're going to let kids up here. But just big rug, lots of toys. I've never had a space where I didn't have to worry about like the toys have always been right in the main living space, which is fine. But I want one where I'm not that worried about cleaning it. They destroy it. It's like, okay, I never see this. So I don't think I'll be up here like a ton, but with a large family, it's nice to have a lot of like extra spaces, like in the winters, everybody go up to the playroom.
We usually use the attic for storage. Where's some of your storage going to be?
We have a basement.
Okay, so the basement.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. In Missouri, we get tornadoes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a full basement. That'll be storage. All right, this is just a bedroom. It'll have the heart pine flooring. We kept the bedrooms real basic, like just drywall. We want to paint the windows the same color as the trim around the top and the baseboards. Yeah, this is my heart pine that I'm just so in love with. Yep, it is.
Okay, I'm gonna smell it really quick.
To me, it's just so special. I love it. It came in, I'm like, this is beautiful. So beautiful.
You're going to put a finish on that once it's all laid. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and just an oil-based polyurethane, so it'll just amber over time. Yeah.
So it'll kind of just naturally.
It'll get a little,
develop.
yes, like we had this in our last house and it does turn orange. I know people on the internet are really against orange. I wanted it orange. I think it gives that warmth of an old house that just, like the grayish floors just don't.
Yes, 100%.
So yeah, you can see all of our old doors everywhere.
So these are just so to be fitted in.
Yeah, like that's a closet door. That's a bathroom door. They all have homes.
Oh, is this what the floor looks like once it's?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep, this is the floor.
Okay, this is so neat.
Isn't it? It has so much grain to it.
I mean, I don't know. You just look at it and you just know.
I know. I was very pleased when it came in.
Wow.
Yeah. This was unfortunately framed wrong. There's a middle thing, so it has to get redone.
Your husband was doing a lot of work on the doors. Is that something?
He was doing a lot of the refinishing of the doors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The builders are making the frames or the whatever you call it. Like they're not pre-hung obviously because they're old, but like that double door goes here, but there's a middle member so it fits in, and this is just like a little closet.
So this will be a closet. I'm seeing
Yes.
lighting.
Yes. So this is the only recessed lights in the whole house. Didn't do recessed lights. They were like, what about in the closet? I'm like, well, I don't care about that. That's fine. Yeah. We have these beautiful, not here, but downstairs, everything's beadboard ceilings. I'm like, I don't want a bunch of holes in it just for extra light.
Yeah, that's actually so true.
Yeah. People are like, well, you're going to get old someday. I'm like, I know. We'll have lamps or something.
Well, the natural lighting. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen this much natural lighting.
Yes.
In a house, so.
Yeah, lots of natural light. And then there's 2 bedrooms over here as well with the connecting Jack and Jill bathroom. Yes, buddy?
So what, this is the bathroom here.
Yeah, they both have the like Jack and Jill bathrooms.
Okay,
Yep.
Oh, I love that tile.
Yeah, we're just doing subway tile, just keeping it real basic up here. We're doing like the pretty stuff downstairs. Oh, your sinks. Your sinks. Yes, your sinks go over here. That's what I meant to tell you. So this is going to be the cute little bathroom with the matching pedestal sinks. And then we're just, for the bathtub, that'll be downstairs because this, we're just doing basic for kids, like, you know. But yeah, the 2 matching sinks, and then we're doing a penny tile with like the little patterns in it. I think that'll be really cute. I can't wait to share about this bathroom. So that's pretty much the whole upstairs, and now I can, most of the fun stuff's on the first floor. Okay. Okay, we already were talking in the living room.
This one you said
Hello.
was the dining room?
This is just the living room, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the kitchen and dining is all one big room. Dining here, kitchen over here, like the oven's over there, and then we have a wood cook stove too. This is that room I said's my favorite. The floor will be painted because the porch floors are all going to be painted. I love this one because it has the back of the brick chimney in it. It has like really great views.
And you said this is not the same as the floor upstairs.
No,
But it was equally.
so all the porch floors, so like I'm calling this a porch, the front porch a porch, and then the back are fir because that's what they typically used for porch floors, and they painted them. And we're doing linseed oil paint because it doesn't chip. It dulls, but it doesn't chip. So we did that on all the exterior, all the porch floors.
And these are old or new?
The 2 French doors are new. They're the only new doors we have because one, it was hard to find the right sizing because we wanted like a nice exit here because we'd probably do some like outside eating and seating there. And then once they're painted, which I won't stain them, I'll paint them to give them more of that old look. They almost look the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say, 'cause I had to double take in terms of what they look like now.
Yeah, for some reason the French doors are like that, whereas like the rest of the interior doors, you can tell. But these, I feel like I didn't gain much by getting them old. Yeah.
The windows also look authentic. They're not old though.
No, they're not. So Brent Hull has the 100-year window.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that's what those are. So.
Is it his own line?
Uh-huh.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Did you have to custom order those and wait on them for a while?
Yes,
Okay.
we did. Yep, but they're just, you know,
That's
we
so neat.
just, I can just picture this sunroom, probably where most school will happen because it's right off the kitchen. We plan to put a table in here, paint the floors, and that's kind of about it. Yeah. I wanted an exit off the kitchen, like, because otherwise we just have the front and back door. And so this was like, I love when you can get out of the kitchen pretty easily. And let's see here, we can go, this is the pantry. Luke just has 2 primer coats on, so it'll end up being the same color as the front porch, but right now it's just 2 primer coats. It's kind of bluish, the final, but yeah, it's just kind of like you see a lot of old porches. They're like usually painted blue. Oh good, he put this down for me so we could walk in here. I was like, are we gonna be able to walk in here? Because this is the,
Oh, it connects. It doesn't connect. It's not
yes. Well, yeah, so like this whole thing, everything where the floors are painted is like the porch that mirrors the front.
Right.
And so what we have packed in that is like the pantry, then this is the laundry, this is a guest bath, and then this is a mud hall where there'll be mud cabinets.
So basically, the story is that this was at one time a porch that was sectioned.
Yes. And so we have a, we'll have an exterior door here that matches this one because they came out of that old farmhouse. And it also has a transom above it. So it was an exterior.
Yeah.
And then this became the exterior later. Yeah. And so, you know, it's a beat up old door, but I don't, that's what I wanted.
Yeah,
You know, like it doesn't look great.
It completes.
But everything shouldn't look great, you know. And we're gonna be really hard on everything. Like we're gonna scuff up these floors. People are like, you're gonna painted floors. They're gonna scratch. I'm like, exactly. Like that's the patina I want. Like that's why we're doing marble counters. We're doing unlacquered brass. Like it's gonna age. Yeah. So if you want, you can see the guest bath is the yellow one, and then the orange or the mauve, I guess is what it's called, is the laundry. This is the bedroom. Yes, yep, and then the closet. It's not huge. Because we did the whole porch thing, a lot of rooms became a little bit small because they had to fit in the porch, but it was worth it to me. Old houses are quirky. Like they're not perfectly, you know, there's like things like, oh, okay, well, since this is what worked out for the porch, this is what it is. Like it's small, it's not a big old closet. I mean, we've never had a walk-in closet ever. So it's bigger than we've ever had. Yeah. And then this, they haven't laid the floor in yet. It'll be painted too. And this is our bathroom.
Oh man, the natural light is just so.
I know. And we live in the country, so people are like, all those windows. I'm like, but I mean, nobody's coming up here. And we will have shades, you know, because Luke will be out there doing stuff. And
That's gonna be amazing in the spring.
I cannot wait for that. Yes, I cannot wait. I guess that's pretty much the house. The bathtub will go here.
So this is a 6-footer.
Yep.
And the toilets were gonna be.
Here, and then the yellow guest bath.
Go ahead and start off. What kind of date range were you working in terms of inspiration for this particular build?
Late 19th century, early 20th century. So 1890 to 1900 was what we were trying to do.
Breaking ground to move in, what's like the time?
We are already at a year right now.
Really?
Yeah.
From breaking ground?
From breaking ground. Wow. So probably, I don't want to say 18 months, but.
Yeah. The total square footage of the build.
I think it's a little under 4,000 because like the main footprint of the house, it's a 25 by 50, but then we did 2 additions and then we finished the attic space.
Now I saw that you said it was 3 stories in total. Does that include the basement? Is there a basement?
There's a basement, but no, it includes the attic.
Incorporating vintage pieces such as the vintage tubs and sinks, as well as toilets from the beautiful bathtub, were integral to Lisa's vision for this build. And while there, we asked her what other architectural salvage pieces she incorporated in her build.
Okay, so as you can see, the doors, every door in the house pretty much, except for there's 2 French doors that we didn't do because they didn't look much different, old and new, to me at all, like once you paint them. But like the front door, every interior door, it was very important to me because that is one area where like the knockoffs don't look good. They're just like, there's certain things that's like, hey, they look almost the exact same. Like you can't even tell the difference. Doors are not that way. Modern doors are hollow. If there's solid wood, you're gonna be paying literally like $3,000. Cause I looked into like reproduction. I'm not kidding, $3,000 per door.
The authentic solid.
If it's going to be all the way solid wood with like the details, you can get them, but yeah, it's going to be extremely expensive. And the new doors that have like the same profiles, they're just, I'm sorry, they're not convincing at all. They're not, I can tell.
What's the time frame that most of these are from?
Yeah, most of them, there are some that are a little older. We pulled them out of a farmhouse that was on my parents' and my sister's farm that they just needed to tear down. So we got 6 doors from that, and those were a little bit older, like maybe 1880s. And then I think most of them are turn of the century. Wow. And that's been a bit of a process too. Like it wasn't easy doing old doors.
What do you mean? What's been the biggest?
They're all different sizes. Oh. Every last one of them.
Did you have to?
We had to, like, before, like, during framing, assign every door to a certain spot and make sure the builders knew, like, this one's this many inches, like, there's like 30 doors. That sounds not that hard, but it was.
So you had to essentially have the doors on hand
I did.
before the build even started.
Yes.
Before the plans were even drawn, hardly.
Well, the plans were drawn, but then we kind of, you know, like, I always feel like I thought building was like you hand your builder the plan and you just kind of walk away, but you're so involved. And so it's kind of like, yeah, this is the plan, but make this door this many inches and this door this many inches. It was very, very, very collaborative.
While there, we asked Lisa what are the unexpected challenges that she has faced in building her new old house.
So many, so many. Oh man. Sourcing a lot of the materials, like especially for the exterior, like there's a lot of details on the exterior that didn't look like any big deal until you realize like nobody does them ever. Yeah. And so we needed to all be cedar so that it would be, you know, like exterior rated. But then one thing I didn't know is you need to paint both sides. Mm-hmm. Like I thought you just put it all up. Well, it turns out they were like, okay, now we're ready for the trim. And I'm like, oh, where do we get that? And then once we figured out where to get it, it had to be custom made because nobody does that. And then we started reading online, oh, if you just paint the front, like install it, then paint the front, it'll rot from behind. So then all of a sudden everything stopped. We had to paint the front and the back of all of our cedar clapboard siding, all of the trim. We couldn't move on until we painted the back first. It was like, it's time for siding. And then we realized, no, it's not. We got to paint the back of it.
That's crazy. Is that standard or was that just something that you had to do to be true to the time or what?
You could just put it up, but probably like in 15 years you'll regret it. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just not doing that. Like just to rush this time because that paused us. Like now we're done. Like we have to for 3 weeks now paint the back of trim. And I'm like, I'm just gonna do that because I don't want to be in 15 years ripping down every bit of our wood exterior.
Now I'm noticing a lot of beadboard in here.
Yeah, so in some of the rooms upstairs, we were gonna do it everywhere. Yeah. Then we realized how much of a deal that is. Yeah. Like every one of these is a different board.
Expense-wise or time-wise?
Both. Yeah. Because of that first, yeah. Expense because every board, it's not like a sheet, it's all individual boards. Yeah. Yeah. And so we were gonna do it everywhere and then we decided to pull back a little bit due to expense. And I will say like the rooms that aren't this, they just look so new. And it's fine, they're bedrooms, but like, unless you do plaster or something like it's just so obvious that it's drywall and it just doesn't look old. I think it makes a huge difference in how old it looks to have the beadboard, the shiplap. Yeah, I'm glad we did it.
You feel like you're not walking into new construction as much when you walk in.
We've had so many people walk in and say like, oh, so you're renovating this old house, or when did you start renovating? Like it keeps happening, yeah.
And that's a good sign.
I'm like, yay! I'm like, thank you, that's a compliment. Yeah.
Okay, this was funny, but I was looking at the comments on your YouTube and everybody's like, where's the screens?
Oh, I know, boy. Wow, the controversy and the drama. So I have a few answers on it. Do you guys, let's see, do you guys want to go upstairs?
Yeah.
That way we can kind of stay out of your way. We can tell them why we switched the location. Yeah, we have our drywall rooms up here. Anyways, we got out of the way for the flooring guys. But the screens. Okay, so I have a few rebuttals.
Right.
This is so controversial. I got to defend myself. One is I don't worry about flies in my house. I just don't. People are like, but you live on a farm. I'm like, yes, I've lived on a farm before. We've had a barn with animals, goats, cattle, like, you know, chickens, and we just put up fly strips, and I'm cool with that. Yeah. And I think that the screens obstruct the view, like, all throughout the year for, like, the, 10, 20 days where it's good enough to open the windows all day. Like, we don't have mild weather that often. Yeah, and then also, like, right now we live in town, and the door all the windows are painted shut, so the only thing I can open is the door. And I prop the screen door open because I just want to see out. So it's in the way for me, and that's just me. Like, I do it all the time. People are like, you're going to hate that. I'm like, but I already do it. The second thing is I always open, like, a few key windows. Like, I'm not going around the house opening up every single window. Like, in my kitchen, I want to open up the one that faces the barn, the one that's, like, out the pantry. There's, like, 3 or 4 to create a nice breeze on a lovely day. And so if it gets really bad, like, so bad, like the people think it's going to get, I'll just get screens for those. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, I took the screens down in my last house. So I just know my preference.
What's your favorite space in the home as of now?
The sunroom, by a long shot. Love it. View. It's got a really beautiful view of the barn, of the fields, like, that direction. It's just full of light. It's got a chimney in it, like the back of a chimney. So it's got brick. Love it.
What does it mean to sort of put a story into the build or create a story, and how did you do that?
Yeah. A lot of old houses they're never just like a big, like, one singular unit. It's always additions that have been added over time. So we kind of tried to make that narrative from the very beginning by making, like, this middle house, if you will, that wasn't that large. Basically, let's see what it would be. Like 2,500, it's not small by any stretch, but, like, the main house is 2,500 square feet. And then adding these, like, there was a back porch that then at one point they decided to, like, close in to make their extra, like, rooms, like when plumbing became a thing. So there's 2 bathrooms in there, laundry, a sink for the pantry. And then, so what we did to kind of make that authentic is it's the exact same footprint as the front porch. So it looks like it would have been 2 porches. And then we even laid the Douglas fir continuous, just the exact same as the porch, and we painted it. Wow. So it's like a porch floor. Mm-hmm. And then we did, like, clapboard on the back, so it looks sort of like siding, or it's really shiplap, but it has like a feel of, like, oh, this was exterior siding and an exterior porch with a metal roof. So the main house has the cedar roof, but then the 2 additions in the porch have the metal roof. So it kind of has the look of, like, oh, there was a porch, and then they didn't want to change the roof out, and they just added the windows. And
so you're talking a lot in terms of custom and specific materials. Was that something your builder walked you through, or did you have an idea going into this process? I want Douglas fir on my porch and all that stuff.
Oh, no, this was all us. Yeah. Our builder's like, okay. Like, the whole, yeah. Expect that if you're going to do something like this, you're going to be very, very involved. It's not going to be a situation, like, even if you have a contractor, they're not going to know what to do with it. Like, they're going to be, they're going to know what they usually do. They don't usually put beadboard on every wall, and they don't do wood on the exterior ever. Like, that's really going to blow their minds. It's just everything. Like, they've never, the flooring guys have never seen painted floors before. Like, just over and over again, vintage old fixtures. Never seen that. Like, it's just every step of the way you're going to be extremely involved. This might be your life.
Now, what did you use in terms of inspiration or resources going into this to know exactly what you wanted and know the materials that you need to source and so forth?
Well, one of the biggest things is just that I've lived in 3 old houses, and I'm a keen observer of old houses. I love them. I know the things about them that feel authentic, and so I knew kind of where you could avoid, like, where you could do things normal and it'd be okay, and then things that were non-negotiables. I read the book New Old House. I looked through, like, just book after book after book. And then I also hired someone to help me design it too.
Now, where did Brent Holt come in? Did he just kind of a consultant in the process?
Yes, basically. But then we actually did use his architecture firm to like give the actual blueprints. Because I had sort of like dreamed up what I wanted, but you can't just give that to a builder. Right. They're like, okay, I need more specifics. So he was a consultant, and then we did use their team to draft up the actual plans.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. What is some advice you give someone who's about to kind of jump into this process? They're in the conceptual phase. They don't have plans, nothing yet. What do you kind of wish you knew or were glad that you did know?
I would say one thing would probably be to start collecting all your architectural salvage and everything pretty early on. I don't think I realized before I built, even like knowing what kind of sink you want is how they do the plumbing before you ever get to putting, like I kind of thought, oh, that's the last thing. It's not the last thing. Like that happens before so many other things where they actually put all of the, plumbing stuff in place. I would say as far as design, I'd probably, if you don't want to be as life altering with how involved you are, a more simple design. Like the porch thing was harder than I thought. The attic thing was harder than I thought. Maybe focus more on like the common spaces, like the kitchen, the living room, making them authentic. And then like we did drywall up here in these rooms. Simplicity, so you can focus on the details, like maybe even a smaller footprint, because, if you want certain aspects to be really beautiful, well, you can't cover a huge, massive house with all that stuff. And since doing this, I have been looking around at so many houses everywhere we go, and there are very beautiful, very, very simple old houses where they're just like a box, but the proportions are right. And I'm like, I feel like you could do that fairly easily and then focus on the details.
Do you feel like that's what your sister's doing? I noticed her build's just a little bit more simple. Is that what she's doing, or just she chose more simple?
She's not doing a new old house at all. So yeah, it's very it's simple design, but then also simple, ready to get materials, which is why they finished theirs in like 5 months. Yeah. So yeah, which has its own. It's nice, not near as life altering. They're still working on things, but they moved in 5 months from breaking ground. And I think that was mostly because all the materials were just readily available. Like, just so many things hung us up along the way because of choosing weird stuff, is what it came down to.
What is an element, whether it's the stone or the beadboard or what have you, that you look at and every time you just get more and more happy and excited by it?
Oh man, so many things. The windows, the beadboard, I love the painted floors downstairs. And then we're doing, in the attic, we are doing, we wanted to do reclaimed flooring, but then we found some, and when we went to go pick it up, it was too rough, like way too rough. So we're gonna do like wide plank, and we're gonna paint it all like it was a later addition. I love the heart pine flooring. It was worth like going out of our way to get it. It wasn't that expensive, but it was out of the way. It wasn't at the lumberyard. Yeah. Like it was special, of course. I couldn't see it before getting it. It came from a different state, like everything.
So that was more of a custom order type of process.
Yeah, it was. But
and what made you decide you wanted that? Just seeing it in an old house previously?
Yes. So the 2 first old houses we lived in, not the one currently that we're living in, but the 2 first houses we had were heart pine. Okay. And when you finish it with like a polyurethane, it deepens like orange amber color. And I know people love like the neutrals, the grays. I love that like orange with all of the grain. So I think that's going to make a really big difference.
You could shout out top 3 resources online people could go to for inspiration or their builds that you've used. What would you say?
I would say like there's the New Old House book. I love that. That kind of gave like not only like the design, but also giving your home a sense of place. Like we're on a farm in Missouri, and so I wanted it to look like, I didn't want to stick out like a sore thumb. I wanted people to think like, oh, you renovated this old house, which is what a lot of people have thought. So that would look different depending on where you are. Like if you're in, the West, it'll be a whole different style of house. If you're, there's just like different styles throughout the country and world. And I think that is helpful. That book really helps you to kind of think that through. I really like Jay Osborne. He makes these plans that he offers pretty much for free. What happened was I was going to do that, and then we started changing so many things that it was like, okay, we got to like go back to the drawing board. Mostly because we have a really large family, and not that large families can't live in a smaller house, but like just we could, so we decided to do it. So we started like making additions and all this stuff. So, and then I love Brent Hall's YouTube channel. You'll learn so much if you go over there. So his channel is great just for so much education, especially if you're new to thinking through, like, I think a lot of us, we appreciate the look, but we don't really know why it's like that. We're like, I love it, but to like zero in on the details is something that we haven't figured out. I think that's why a lot of times when someone tries to build a house that's new, old, you kind of do the things that maybe you thought were the things that made the big difference, but then after observing longer, you might discover there's even more things. And then there's places where you could not worry about it too, and figuring that out beforehand, I think is good research to do.
Yeah.
So,
okay, question though, is curiosity. How many years has this been a dream in the waiting?
I started dreaming about this in, I want to say late 2023.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so it hasn't been that long, but I've always loved old houses. And so I just assumed when we realized that we wanted to, have a little bit of a different property and move, I assumed we would find an old house, and we looked and looked and looked. And so I think it was around 2023 that we were like, this might not happen. Yeah. And that's when I bought like new old house. I started watching Brent Hall and started like kind of piecing together in my brain like the things I'd noticed about the houses that we've lived in. So the love of old house is very long. Building one, more new.
Right. This is so neat. And I think this is really going to set a precedent in terms of what you're doing on whole. I mean, I know it's kind of a trend, but I've never seen it done quite like this.
Well, thank you. It's been a process for sure. But yeah.
I'm excited to see the first Christmas in here though.
Oh man.
Tell you what,
Me
it's
too.
Out, but
yeah, that's okay.
That
yes, it's funny how fast the years go. Cause I'm like, yeah, we thought for sure we'd be in here by now, but we're, like I said, there's been plenty of times along the way where we could have just been like, all right, forget it. Let's just do this. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Like, we're not doing a hurry on this. And I think it's sort of paying off. There's certain things that will just end up changing too. Like, there's certain things you can always add later, like you can add beadboard later. Mm-hmm. So if you do have a faster time frame that you need to get in, you could say, okay, we'll drywall. And then later on, room by room over time, we'll add, beefier trim. We'll add, some fixtures, some old stuff. Maybe we'll just toss in a bathtub, and then later on we'll get like the beautiful one or the beadboard. I think that it's probably easier to, not easier, but it's nice to get it all done up front. But if you're on a tight time frame, those can be things where you kind of think about the shape of the house, the proportions, the design of like the structure, and then you can add all those things in later.
And don't forget, for your selection of vintage doors, architectural salvage, vintage bathroom and kitchen fixtures, including cast iron farm sinks, pedestal sinks, vintage toilets, clawfoot tubs, and more, visit bbdallas.com or feel free to call the phone number on screen. We ship our vintage fixtures nationwide and more than likely have what you need to finish your new old house build.